analyzing the questions of 2019 Karnataka CET. Which one of the following ecosystem has the highest annual? What is coelom? Coelom is nothing but a body cavity, or integments are nothing, or envelopes is nothing but the covering. Increases the post-harvest losses is not an advantage. Amphibians and reptiles change their body temperature according to the external environment. Hi dear students, myself B. Shobarani from the Department of Biology, Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, the Temple of Excellence. Dear students, in today's session, I will be analyzing the questions of 2019 Karnataka CET. I think all of you know that cracking these competitive exams is not a joke. The problem here is, as you know, the competitive exams are time bound. So for one question you will have only 1 minute. For 60 questions you will have 60 minutes. So you need to use your presence of mind while answering the questions, particularly in this competitive exam. So analysis of the questions is very, very important. So I am here to help you out in solving 2019 Karnataka CET competitive exam. So we will move on to the first question. Which of the following amino acid is coded by single codon? There are some amino acids which are coded by more than single codon, like 2 codons, right? So which of the following amino acid is coded by single codon? The options are phenylalanine, B. tryptophan, C. valine, and D. tyrosine. Now let us analyze why the 3 options are wrong and why one option is correct. Phenylalanine, as you know, it is a precursor of tyrosine, which is coded by doublet codons. So which is coded by doublet codon. So obviously, which of the following amino acid is coded by single codon? So here it is doublet codon. So this is wrong. Then tryptophan. What is tryptophan? As you know, tryptophan is a very unique amino acid. Is a unique amino acid which is coded by a singlet codon. So it is a unique amino acid which is coded by a singlet codon. Valine, I think all of you know, valine is what? It is used for biosynthesis of proteins. Biosynthesis of protein, and even tyrosine, protein synthesis. So among the 4 options, this is doublet codon. Tryptophan is a very unique amino acid which is coded by a singlet codon. Valine, then tyrosine. So the correct option, which of the following amino acid is coded by a singlet codon? The option is B, that is tryptophan. Hope you have understood the first question. Moving on to the second question. In prokaryotes, the transcription of DNA is initiated with the help of option A, elongation factor, option B, termination factor, C, rho factor, and D, sigma factor. So in prokaryotes like bacteria, the transcription of DNA is initiated with the help of, very important, that is option D, called sigma factor. So what is the sigma factor? Sigma factor is a factor that is needed for the initiation of transcription in bacteria. So In prokaryotes, the transcription of DNA is initiated with the help of sigma factor. What is sigma factor? It is a factor that is needed for the initiation of transcription in bacteria. Hope you know what is transcription and translation. The genetic message that is transcribed from mRNA from DNA to mRNA. So, it is a factor that is needed for the initiation of transcription in bacteria is sigma factor. Then what is elongation factor? Elongation factor is a set of proteins that function at ribosomes during protein synthesis. Right. Then what is this termination factor? That is protein signal that mediates termination of RNA transcription. Then what is Rho factor? Prokaryotic protein involved in termination of transcription. So what is elongation factor? Set of proteins that function at ribosomes during protein synthesis. Termination factor, protein signal mediates termination of RNA transcription. Rho factor, prokaryotic protein involved in termination of transcription. What is sigma factor? It is a factor that is needed for the initiation of transcription in bacteria. So the option is sigma factor. So third question, according to Human Genome Project, that is HGP, the total number of genes in human genome is estimated at 30,000. The number of genes present on the Y chromosome. Option A 242 genes, B 2898 genes, that is 2898 genes, then C 2968 genes and D 231 genes. So the Y chromosome, X and Y chromosome together form around 30,000 genes. Whereas the Y chromosome consists of around 50 million base pairs, which forms around 2% of total DNA. 2% of total DNA. So, according to the Human Genome Project, the total number of genes in human genome is estimated at 30,000. The number of genes present on Y chromosome are. So, total it is 30,000 genes. What will be the number of genes on the Y chromosome? So, the Y chromosome has around 58 million base pairs, which constitutes around 2% of total DNA. Then 2% of total DNA would be around option D, 231 genes. Option, that is, it constitutes how much? What is the number of genes present on Y chromosome? 231 genes. So the option is D. D is the correct option. Next, fourth question. In a crime investigation, the investigating officer collects different biological samples from the crime spot for DNA fingerprinting analysis. Which of the following sample is not helpful in this analysis? So, some samples are collected from the site of crime for the analysis of the DNA that is found in the crime spot for DNA fingerprinting. So, which is the sample which is not used in this analysis? Option erythrocytes, hair follicle, C skin shreds and D semen sample. Erythrocytes, that is RBC cells, lack nucleus. So, no DNA. Hair follicles has DNA. Skin shreds also has DNA. Then semen also has DNA. So in a crime investigation, so here no DNA, that is the erythrocytes do not have nucleus. So what is the fun in taking the erythrocytes for DNA analysis from the site of the crime? So in a crime investigation, the investigating officer collects different biological samples from the crime spot for DNA fingerprinting analysis. Which of the following sample is not helpful in this analysis? It is erythrocytes. Erythrocytes are not helpful in this analysis. Next, fifth question. A mature mRNA consists of 900 bases without any stop codon in between. Calculate the number of amino acids coded by this mRNA during translation. Hope you know what is transcription and translation. From DNA, the message is given to the genetic message is transferred to mRNA, and from mRNA to tRNA, and from tRNA to rRNA. From rRNA it goes to ribosomes. Right. So, a mature mRNA consists of how much? 900 base pairs. So, calculate the number of amino acids coded by this mRNA during translation. This is transcription and this is translation. So, around from here to here it will be around 299. How many base pairs? So, calculate the number of amino acids coded by this mRNA. It is around 299 amino acids. So, option is A 299, B 450, C 900, D 300. Approximately it will be around 300, but we call it, that is we say it is 299. So, the number of amino acids coded by this mRNA during translation is 299. Question number 6. Which one of the following ecosystem has the highest annual net primary productivity? So, the option A is tropical deciduous forest, temperature evergreen forest, C desert, D tropical rainforest. The net primary productivity in tropical deciduous forest is around 150 to 300 metric tons per hectare. Here temperature evergreen forest also has less productivity. Then desert, obviously due to scanty rainfall and extreme temperature, the net primary productivity will be very less. That is around 90 to 140 grams per square meter per year. What is the net primary productivity in case of a desert? 90 to 140 grams per square meter per year. Then the tropical rainforest has the highest net primary productivity, around 9,000 kilocalories per year. So, 9,000 kilocalories per year. So, which one of the following ecosystem has the highest annual net primary productivity? The option is D, that is tropical rainforest. Tropical rainforest is the option, that is option D. Seventh one, of the total incident solar radiation, the percentage of PAR, what does PAR stand for? Photosynthetically active radiation captured by the plants. 2 to 10% of PAR only, 30 to 40% of PAR only, option B. Option C, 10 to 20% of PAR only, option D, 0 to 10% of PAR only. about 1.5% of incident light or 2 to 10% of PAR is captured by the photosynthetic organisms. Like what? Like plants. So photosynthetic organism is what? Nothing but plants. So about 1.5% of incident light or 2 to 10% of PAR, that is photosynthetically active radiation, is captured by the photosynthetic organisms like plants. So the option is, first option is correct, that is 2 to 10%, that is option A is correct. About means it constitutes how much? 1.5% of incident light. So the option A is correct, that is 2 to 10% of PAR is captured by the plants. Question number 8. The historic convention related to conservation of biological diversity is also known as Kyoto Protocol, option A, Kyoto Protocol, option B, Montreal Protocol, option C, Earth Summit, and D, World Summit. Kyoto Protocol. This was an international treaty which was mainly focused on climate change. Climate change. Why it is called Kyoto Protocol? Because it was first made in Kyoto, Japan. Because why it is called Kyoto Protocol? Because it was first made in Kyoto, that is Japan, and this treaty was made in Kyoto, that is Japan, which was mainly focused on what? On climate change. Climate changes. So it is called Kyoto Protocol. Then Montreal Protocol is an international treaty. That focused on protection of ozone layer. So Kyoto Protocol mainly for climate change, and Montreal Protocol for the protection of ozone layer, and Earth Summit for the protection of the biological diversity or the environment. So Earth Summit was a summit which was mainly focused on what? Protection of the biological diversity, or what we call it as the environment. Then World Summit was an international organization which was founded in 1945, which was mainly focusing on the peace, security, and economic development. So Kyoto Protocol, climate change; Montreal Protocol, protection of ozone layer; Earth Summit, protection of biological diversity or the environment; and World Summit was focusing on the peace, security, and economic development. See, the option C is correct. So the historic convention related to conservation of biological diversity is also known as Earth Summit. So the option C is correct. Option C is correct. Moving on to the 9th question. Which one of the following human activity has contributed to deforestation in northeastern states of India? So you know what is deforestation? So cutting off all the trees in the forest, deforestation, right? So which one of the following human activity has contributed to deforestation in northeastern states of India? Industrialization. What is industrialization? As you know, in the name of development, in the name of progress of the country, many industries are coming up, and that process of increase in the number of industries is called industrialization. Then what is zoom cultivation? Zoom cultivation is also called as slash burn cultivation. Slash and burn, slash and so slash and burn cultivation, which is a process of growing crops by first clearing the land of trees and vegetation by burning them. So the burnt soil will be rich in minerals, like potash, which increases the nutrient value of the soil, So that is about zoom cultivation. So what is zoom cultivation? It is also called as what? Slash and burn cultivation, which is a process of growing crops by first clearing the land of trees and vegetation by burning. After burning, the burnt soil is used for growing more crops, as the soil is rich in minerals like potash, which is going to increase the nutrient value of the soil. Urbanization, as I say, in the name of development, like we are coming up, we see in the cities, so more of urbanization. Then monocropping, growing one single crop at a time, is called monocropping. So which one of the following so most of the land is cleared first, so it is more or less like what? It is like deforestation. So which one of the following human activity has contributed to deforestation in northeastern states of India? That is B, option B. That is option B, that is zoom cultivation. That is zoom cultivation. Question number 10. In an area where DDT has been used extensively, the population of birds declined significantly because option A, birds stopped laying eggs. B, earthworms in the area got eradicated. Then birds became vulnerable to predators. Option D, many of the eggs laid by birds showed premature breaking. So this DDT chemical is insoluble in water. And alters the calcium metabolism in birds, thereby the birds are going to produce thin-shelled eggs, which will not have the capacity to bear the weight of the bird during hatching. So they break before hatching. So DDT is insoluble in water and alters the calcium metabolism in birds. Thereby the birds are going to produce what type of eggs? They are going to produce thin-shelled eggs and will not have the capacity to bear the weight of the mother bird for what? During the process of hatching. So they break before hatching. So what is the option? Birds stopped laying eggs is wrong. Then earthworms in the area got eradicated, wrong. Then birds became vulnerable to predators is wrong. Many of the eggs laid by birds showed premature breaking. See, They break before hatching. Before, that is premature breaking. Before hatching. So the option is D. So in an area where DDT has been used extensively, the population of birds declined significantly because of many of the eggs laid by birds showed premature breaking. The reason is this one. Right. Question number 11. Which of the following protozoan parasites causes sleeping sickness? Entamoeba, option A, entamoeba, option B, plasmodium, option C, trypanosoma, then option D, leishmania. Entamoeba. Entamoeba histolytica causes what type of disease? Amoebic dysentery. Or it is also called as what? Amoebiasis. Plasmodium vivax causes malaria. Plasmodium vivax causes malaria. And trypanosoma bruyi. Trypanosoma bruyi causes sleeping sickness. Sleeping sickness. This is also called as African trypanosomiasis. Then leishmania, it is a genus of trypanosoma. It is a genus of trypanosoma which causes a disease called leishmaniasis. So, which of the following protozoan parasite causes sleeping sickness? So, which is the one which causes? Entamoeba causes amoebic dysentery, plasmodium causes malaria, trypanosoma causes sleeping sickness, and leishmania causes leishmaniasis. So, the option, that is, which of the following protozoan parasite causes sleeping sickness is option C, that is trypanosoma. Trypanosoma causes what? Sleeping sickness. That is option C. Option C is correct. Which of the following phyla possess body cavity as shown in the diagram below? Hope you know, all of you might have studied in first PUC about coelom. What is coelom? Coelom is nothing but a body cavity or a space between the body wall and the alimentary canal. So there are three types, that is coelom, coelomates, acoelomates, or you can also use the word called eucoelomates and pseudocoelomates. Acoelomates are the animals without coelom. Coelomates or eucoelomates, the body cavity is lined by a layer called mesoderm. Pseudocoelomate, where you don't find the body cavity is there but it is not lined by the layer called mesoderm. So this is a picture of pseudocoelom. So which of the following phyla possess body cavity as shown in the diagram? Porifera acoelomate, Coelenterata coelomates, Annelida again coelomates, Ascihelminth pseudocoelomates. So among the four options, which is the animal which is having pseudocoelom? It is Ascihelminths. So the diagram what is shown here is a diagram of pseudocoelom. So which is the option, that is, which of the following phyla possess body cavity as shown in the diagram below? It is Ascihelminths. Phylum Ascihelminths. It is also called as what? Nemathihelminths. Right? Testa and Tegmen of the seed coat represent. So seed is usually made up of two integuments. One is called the outer integument and inner integuments. Integuments can also be called as envelopes, whereas the outer integument is hard, leathery testa, whereas the inner integument is thin, called tegmen. So, Testa and Tegmen of the seed coat represent what? Seed, as I said, it is made up of two envelopes or two integuments covering. Integuments are nothing, or envelopes is nothing but the covering. Outer integument called testa, which is hard and leathery, and inner integument, that is thin, it is a thin layer called tegmen. So, testa and tegmen of the seed coat represent dried sepals? No, wrong. Sepals are nothing, has nothing to do with the seed coat, seed. Dried petals, even it has nothing to do with the seed. Dried integuments, correct. Tepals, so what is it? Tepals also, as what are tepals? When sepal and petal are not distinguishable, we use the word called tepals. So the remaining three they are not at all related to a seed. So the only thing which is related is dried integuments. That is, they are nothing but called integuments, right? So dried integuments, outer integument called testa and inner integument called tegmen. So question number 14. The trees growing in temperature regions show clear demarcation between spring wood and autumn wood. This is because the water stress is more, option A. The water stress is more, option B. The climatic conditions are not uniform throughout the year. Then option C. The climatic conditions are uniform throughout the year. Option D. The temperature is high. In tropical places, the annual ring has broad xylem during spring season called spring wood, whereas the annual ring consists of narrow xylem during summer season. So there is a difference in the climatic conditions. So it is, climatic conditions are not uniform. Here it is in spring season. The xylem is broad in spring season and the xylem is narrow in summer season, which is called as what? Summer wood or autumn wood. Summer wood, or it is otherwise called autumn wood. So which will be the right option? The water stress is more, wrong. The climatic conditions are not uniform throughout the year, correct, because it is not uniform. There is a variation in the season. Then the climatic conditions are uniform throughout the year, wrong. The temperature is high, is wrong. So the option B is correct. Question number 15. Identify the part labeled as M in the diagram given below. So this is a diagram of a chromosome. Here you can see these are chromatids. This is centromere and this is a satellite, or it is also called sat body. And such chromosome which has satellite has called sat chromosomes. Sat chromosomes. So M stands for what? Satellite. So identify the part labeled as M in the diagram given below. Kinetochore, B satellite, C chromatid, D centromere. So what is kinetochore? Kinetochore is associated with centromere. It is a protein associated with centromere. Satellite, as I said. So this satellite is separated from the main body of the chromosome. Main body of the chromosome, main body of the chromosome. So what is that M standing for? M is standing for what? Satellite. Option B is correct. Chromatid, M, it is not chromatid. It is not centromere. It is the centromere holds the two arms of the chromosomes called chromatids. So the option M stands for what? M stands for satellite. And such chromosomes where you come across the satellite are called as what? Sat chromosomes. Which of these is not an advantageous in genetically modified crops? So what do you mean by genetically modified crops? So genetically modified crops are used in particularly where the DNA is altered, right, to produce a better variety of crops. So it is through genetic engineering. So genetically modified crops. So it has lot of advantages. Like what? What are the advantages? It has more tastier food, production of more tastier food, then disease and drought resistant crops, disease resistant crops or plants, etc., etc., right? So which of these is not an advantage in genetically modified crops? Reduces the reliance of chemical, correct. So it reduces what? The pest, that is pest resistance. So reduces the reliance on chemical pesticides. Then correct, this is A is correct. Increases the post harvest loss is wrong. It decreases the post harvest losses. Then increases efficiency of mineral usage in plants, correct. Enhances the nutritional value of food, correct. So which of these is not an advantage? Option B is not an advantage. What is that? Increases the post harvest losses is not an advantage in genetically modified crops. So the option which is not is what? It is B, that is increases the post harvest losses. Some multinational companies have exploited the traditional knowledge of the indigenous people to produce commercially important bioproducts without their consent. This is an example for option A, bioprospecting, option B, bioremediation, option C, biopatent, option D, biopiracy. Now let us see one by one. What is bioprospecting? Then what is bioremediation? Then what is biopatent? Then biopiracy. So what is bioprospecting? It is a patent invention. Is a patent invention that holds the patent holder to exclude others from making, using, selling the invention for a limited period of time. Then what is bioremediation? The use of naturally occurring microorganisms, that is naturally occurring or deliberately introduced microorganisms to break down environmental pollution in order to clean, right? Next, so this is biopatent. So biopiracy we call it as commercial exploitation. So some multinational companies have exploited the traditional knowledge of the indigenous people to produce commercially important bioproducts without their consent. This is an example of biopiracy. Option D is correct. Biopiracy. Commercial exploitation of the products that are produced without their consent. In amphibians and reptiles, the body temperature changes corresponding to external temperature. The organism which show this kind of response is termed as regulators. In case of regulators, the body temperature is constant. It does not change according to the environment, like warm-blooded animals. Conformers, the body temperature is not constant. Changes according to the environment. Environmental changes. What are partial regulators? They are in between regulators and conformers. They can maintain homeostasis or internal environment to a limited period, to a limited time. Thermophiles are those organisms which can withstand extreme temperature, So, in amphibians and reptiles, the body temperature changes corresponding to external temperature. So, all these are what? Cold-blooded animals. Cold-blooded animals. Also, we use the word called poikilotherms. So, in amphibians and reptiles, the body temperature changes corresponding to external temperature. The organism which show this kind of response is termed as conformers. B. Cold-blooded. Change. So, B, that is conformers. So, why they are called conformers? Why this option is correct? Why the remaining three options are wrong? Because amphibians and reptiles change their body temperature according to the external environment. So, they are conformers. Their body temperature is not constant. They don't maintain the internal environment. It keeps on changing according to the external environment. So, the option is B, that is conformers. The monarch butterfly feeds on poisonous weeds during its caterpillar stage. It helps butterfly to become distasteful to its predator. So, this monarch butterfly uses a defense mechanism to overcome the predator. The monarch butterfly feeds on poisonous weeds during its caterpillar stage. Reason are it helps butterfly to become distasteful to its predator. So, it feeds on a particular plant during the caterpillar stage, so that the chemical makes it distasteful, and obviously it helps butterfly to become distasteful to its predators. So, this chemical substance that is found in the body of this monarch butterfly is distasteful. Obviously, the predator will not predate on the monarch butterfly. So, what is the option? Option that is first A, that is option A. A is true and R is its correct explanation is correct. Both A and R are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A is wrong. A is true, R is false is wrong. Option D, both A and R are false is wrong. So, the correct option is A. A is true and R is its correct explanation. Why? Because it feeds on poisonous weeds. And what is that poisonous weed making particularly during caterpillar stage? It makes it distasteful. because of the chemical that is found in the poisonous weeds, and obviously the predator will not predate on the monarch butterfly. Moving on to the question number 20. From the given options, identify the correct combination of population interactions that correspond to the symbols given here. So plus 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 means beneficial to both, that is mutualism. Here both lose, that is competition. Competition. Here one is benefited, one is benefited, the other is neither benefited nor harmed. So it is an example of what? Commensalism. So mutualism, competition, commensalism. From the given options, identify the correct combination of population interactions that correspond to the symbols given here. First option A, predation, competition, commence. So first only is wrong. Then mutualism, here also you come across mutualism, here also you come across mutualism. So obviously option C is wrong. So first one is what? Mutualism, correct. Second one is competition, here it is parasitism, it is wrong. Here competition, correct, mutualism, correct, competition, correct, commensalism. So option D is correct. D is correct. So option D is correct. Next. So like that we have one more, amensalism, minus and 0. That is, one is harmed, the other is neither harmed nor benefited. So from the given option, identify the correct combination of population interactions that correspond to the symbols given here. So the option D is correct.